Good morning, Ray. It's Clint Rawls with Delta Valves. So this trim kit I'm going to show y'all is for PPE-16281-23. This is the 8x4 trim kit. So we have an 8-inch valve back here. We've already assembled this trim into the valve, tested it. We did have to make some modifications because it was having trouble. After making those modifications, it shut off bubble tight first try. Anyhow, I wanted to show the assembly process because there's no real instruction manual on this. So, going in, you got your 8-inch seat gasket, the large thin gasket. That drops in the valve first. Then you got your 8x4 reducer that sits on top of it in the valve body. Okay, now you should have, your 4-inch seat gasket that drops in the 8x4 seat reducer. Now you've got your 4-inch seat ring that drops in to there. Now it's time for your cage. So your cage sits on here like so. Let's see, let me think about this. So your plug, I'm not gonna put the seal on. I'm just gonna kind of show. So basically your plug seal will be the first thing that goes on the plug. It is flow up. So you want to see the spring on the top, so it sits on there like that. And then you'll have your spacer on top of the seal ring, and then your snap ring. We did replace this and the gaskets. These were used in the actual test. So then let's just, for grins, I'm going to put the plug in without the seals and spacer. Just going to drop that in. Okay. So next, you've got one gasket and one shim. Spiral wound gasket goes on the cage. Shim goes on next. All right, now we've got our cage adapter. It's a cage/load ring adapter. See, the side that sits on there is going to be this. There's an important portion on the other side, and it's a little radius hump. That's actually a sealing surface. I'll show you where it seals in a second on the underside of the bonnet. Okay, now this drops on. And then this isn't going to land anywhere, but there is no gasket going all the way across. This large gasket will sit down on the valve body face, which is the bonnet gasket. Okay, so that is completely assembled. I would use lots of lubrication, anti-seize, whatever you guys typically use. But let me show you this. So on the bonnet, that radius on the load ring adapter, the top adapter, seals right where my thumbnail is hitting. You can see that. Just that flat surface. That needs to be cleaned and heavily lubricated. If it is not heavily lubricated and clean, the flow will come up through the ports of the plug and leak by right here and flow around into here. So basically it will act like the valve is just leaking by. Part of the problem, we had to rework this load ring adapter because one of the dimensions was off, and we flanged up one side of the valve, the upstream side, put 100 pounds of air on it just as a preliminary test before we put it into the actual test stand so that we could snoop up inside the valve and see if there's a leak. Where is it leaking from? Well, it was leaking from the top, which is the load ring adapter. So we figured out where we went wrong, modified it, made a whole new load ring adapter, and first try out the gate, sealed bubble tight. Then we moved it to the test stand, put it in there, bubble tight all the way up to 1480, and shell tested, and everything is solid. Anyhow, if you got any questions, give me a shout. Thanks. Bye-bye.